Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's 2022. I thought I'd start this year off with the first video just being a bit of an update as to what's been happening and give you guys a bit of an insight what I plan on doing with the channel this year. So end of 2021 we were working on the Mini. That's had quite a bit of work done to it now and it's currently at the body shop. So I've got two videos with regards to replacing the door, which I'm going to get up. One of them should be up hopefully before the end of next week with any luck. And really the reason why I haven't posted content in quite a while is because I've been extremely busy with work. One of the guys that worked for me basically took on another job with another company, which meant I had to pick up some of the workload. And we ended last year probably on a real high with regards to the amount of work that the business was doing, so that was great for us. I also had some unexpected news, which was something we weren't planning, but I'm going to be dad again in about 6 months time. The baby's due. So my wife and I are really happy, but that has meant that I've had to do quite a bit at home to kind of accommodate another baby in a 3-bedroom house where we already have 2 children. So I'm sure you guys can appreciate there's been a lot going on in the background. It's kind of taken my time and I have to prioritise family. I'll always prioritise family. So going back to the channel where we are, I say the Mini is off at the moment having the bodywork done, so it's having the rear quarter sort of straightened out, get those dents out of it, and having all of the spray work done, and that should be back with us next week. I've had to put quite a bit of an effort in to get that one finished as quickly as possible, because one of my customers that came in December saw it sat outside, her son fell in love with it and has basically made me an offer on the car subject to it being completed, and so we've got a couple of bits left to do on that. I won't go into too much detail because I want to kind of keep that for those vlogs, but that car is pretty much sold, so I need to get it fixed and finished as quickly as possible. A couple of other things that happened. I did buy a couple of the cars from Copart. I bought a Smart for 2 that had basically just had a small front end, even though they classed it as category S. When we took all of the bits and pieces off the panel work, we literally found that there was a small bracket on the end of the chassis legs which had snapped, tiny little bit that needed to be re-welded, and I put that back together, and I've literally just been waiting on parts for that, because trying to source front panels for a Smart for 2 in the right colour has turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. So the videos on that, I don't know if I'm going to upload it as a vlog, basically because there wasn't that much content there wasn't that much interesting stuff to kind of go over. I put a battery in it, bolted a new bit on the front, and literally I'm now waiting on a front panel, so there wasn't a massive amount of content, but I will do a quick summary on that maybe later on in the year. And then I got royally stung on a Audi A4 Avant. So when we found out the news that we were going to have another baby, I needed to think about practicalities of the vehicles that I had. I had the C-Max, which also developed a fault with the tail lights. So it's kind of all happened at once. What happened was every time you turn the main lights on, the tail lights would not come on, but if you put the vehicle into parking light mode, the tail lights light up. That car had done 125,000 miles. It owed me probably £1,000 from buying the car and running it, and I'd run that for over a year. So just because I didn't have the time to do any sort of in-depth investigation into it, I looked into it. It looked like it was an issue with the body control module. I could have bought another body control module for about 60 quid, fitted that to it, and it might have fixed the problem, it might not have fixed the problem. So I put an advert up on Facebook Marketplace. I think I stuck it up for like 700 quid, and within about 30 minutes I had about 40 odd messages on it, and that went the same day, which kind of left me without a car. Luckily, and I'll go back to the A4 in a minute, I'd also bought a Toyota Auris, which had been written off by the insurance company on the basis that somebody had stolen the catalytic converter off it. And I thought, right, that's ideal, nice quick flipped car. And I've now been running that for the last sort of 2 or 3 months. And the catalytic converter was a simple fix, £200 for the new cat, bolted it straight on, and that's run absolutely beautifully. So I'll give you a quick walk around on that car in a second. But yeah, going back to the Audi A4, so I found an Audi A4 Avant. I was looking at category N because I didn't want to spend too much money. It was high mileage, but it had the service history. I think it'd done about 180,000 and the service history went up to about 176. Had the belts and absolutely everything done on it. Category N was a front end. I'll post a picture from the bid of that vehicle so you can see, but ultimately when I got it here, it had been in a lot more of an accident than was led to believe. The side had taken a serious impact on the B pillar, and somebody had basically dressed it all up, put 2 new doors on it, made it look like presentable. And ultimately I got body shop to come over and assess repairing the frame, and after we looked into it, the amount of cost and what was going to be involved, there was no way I was going to spend money on the car at that mileage with the amount that it was going to cost me to get it fixed. So I literally just did a quick online form for somebody to come and take it away, and basically to get it out of my sight, because it was really annoying me, the fact that I'd spent money on something which was falsely advertised. I spoke to Copart about it. They just quoted their terms and conditions. It wasn't really something that, you know, I was interested in keeping hold of any longer. They said I could have sent it back to them and put it back through, but ultimately, would I have made the money back on it? Probably not. So that's why I just decided to get someone to come and take it away who's a scrappy, who can break that car and use it for, you know, making a profit for them, and unfortunately a loss for me. But that kind of just reiterates that when you are buying from Copart, you might end up getting an absolute gem that's an easy fix, but you might also get something that's been dressed up by somebody and mis-sold to somebody, and therefore you're going to have to take that risk every time. It was bound to happen at some point, but I've learned from that. I'm going to basically take a lot more effort now when I come to buy another car to give it a lot more in-depth look. And even though you can't go to Copart because of the COVID restrictions, I'm hoping they're going to be lifted with Plan B restrictions now being dropped. But if they're not, you can request a video call for someone from Copart to go and video call you while they're walking around the vehicle. So if you are looking at something, definitely use that. So yeah, so that's pretty much the update from last year, where I've been, what I've been doing, and what are the plans for 2022. Well, for me, that new family vehicle is probably quite a key thing for me. I would say ideally I'd like a 7-seater vehicle, but when you look at 7-seater vehicles, you're going to be paying a premium for them, because you've got to kind of look at things like a Range Rover, Audi Q7. There are a couple of Peugeots that are available that I also, but I've not found any come up on Copart yet. So I'm ideally looking for a 7-seater vehicle, something that gives us practicality for the children, and yeah, that is kind of something that I'm going to be looking out for continuously. Other than that, I'm still focused on, after I've got the Mini sold, I'm also going to sell the Aris as soon as I find something else for me to run around in, and sell the smart car as soon as I track down a front panel for it. So those 3 combined will free up funds for us to buy something else, hopefully something a little bit more sporty. And yes, you're also probably wondering, if you've been following the channel for a while, where is the Clio? So the Clio has now been at an accident repair centre, who have a jig and the ability to straighten that sort of front frame damage and weld on any of the new plates, for over 3 months. And I've been chasing them, and for them it's a low priority, because they're doing it to me as trade work to kind of keep my costs down. But ultimately that is sort of sat there. The bulk of my money is in that car. I mean, when that is all fixed, looking at the prices of category S Clios with that mileage, they're going anything between 7,000 and 9,000. So I would be quite happy with sort of 7.5 for that vehicle. 7 would be great, because it's going to give us a nice profit in it, and then I can take the entirety of that money and plumb it into another build, which can be a lot more interesting, maybe something sporty, or maybe even a 7-seater vehicle if it comes up. But whatever I buy as a 7-seater is got to stay with me. So I've also got to think about profitability and how I'm going to keep money in the channel, and that's where you guys can help by, you know, supporting the channel by liking, subscribing, share it with your friends, subscribe to our Instagram. All those things help me to generate income, to be able to get to the point where we're monetized, and then I can start to actually take money from the videos and plumb them into the builds. So it's been a bit of a long-winded sort of 10-minute chat. I just wanted to give everyone an update. Appreciate this is not what everybody always wants to watch, but if you have stuck around, listen to my waffling and listen to my updates, then I really appreciate that. I'll post a couple of photos now of the A4, what I got when it arrived. What I got when it arrived, and ultimately how it was listed on Copart as a Cat N. So again, thanks for watching. And like I said, if you can like, subscribe, share, that really helps me grow this channel. Thanks again. I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this, so hopefully it works okay with the computer screen. But this is the Audi A4 that I bought. As I mentioned, it was category N. Classed on here that basically this was the only damage. If you look, it all looks fairly straight. Can't see any particular issues or anything like that on there. And then if we switch to my photos, this is basically what it was when I opened up. This is all on the driver's side. So here, this nuts, somebody's almost rounded it off, getting it back into the frame. As you can see there, there's damage. This is actually on the B pillar where it's all pushed in just here. And then you can see kind of an indentation there. So this actual hinge is not sitting properly as it should be. And then when we lifted up the plastic trims, as you can see, the trim here doesn't fit in place properly. And all around here, this whole section was all crushed in. So this is actually on the sill of the driver's door. That's all hammered in. There's deformities here. And basically the whole thing was kind of twisted and mangled. And there again, that's before we remove the trim. You can kind of see this line here. This should be perfectly straight across here. And it is literally all mangled, and it was a complete mess. It looks like somebody's basically grabbed it from here, tried to pull it out, got it as straight as they can, and then put everything back on there. That was the picture from the rear door on the driver's side. Again, here you can see there's a massive crease. So yeah, it was a complete nightmare, and yeah, I'm just happy that it's now gone. Okay, so quick update to add on to the end of that video. This is the Smart for 2 that I bought. It's done about 70,000 miles. 2004 if I remember correctly. Yeah, 54 plate, really good condition, Continental tyres all round, interior is really nice and tidy, although I haven't got the key on me so I can't unlock it. I say it had a front end hit at this end here, and I say behind here one of the little brackets had broken, so we basically got that welded on, and then we fitted a new slam panel and new radiator pack, which basically fixes on the two top points there and then to these 2 points here, and transferred the coolant across because the coolant was really clean. So yeah, so all I'm literally waiting on at the moment, if you can see in the back there is a replacement front center panel, and I just need this wing. That's the only thing I haven't got. So as soon as I've got that, everything else can be bolted back on. I've ordered 2 new spotlights. There's one that goes here, one that goes here, and then there's like a kind of a grey insert that goes across the front, and that's all that's left to do on this car. So it was a really nice easy fix, and I say not a lot of content, so I might do quite like a quick summary video on it like I said before, but ultimately I don't want to go into too much depth on that one. And then this is the Toyota Auris that I bought. Like I said, it had the cat stolen off it. The insurance company wrote it off, which I think is such a shame, because at the end of the day, look how clean it is. It had a little bit of paintwork done on the passenger side. It's got a tiny little ding just down here, and there's a couple of scuffs on the back bumper. But to represent a car that's done 84,000 miles on a 2008, it's got Michelin tyres all around it. The engine bay was immaculate. The oil is as clean as anything. So it's been really, really well looked after. And ultimately, I've been driving it now for a couple of months. It drives beautifully. I take my daughter to preschool in it, and it's going to make a great car for somebody. It's just a shame that we can't contact the previous owner because we're not allowed to due to the Copart rules, and I haven't got the service history for it. So I'll stick 12 months MOT on it, and there's no point doing an oil service on it because the oil's just way too clean. And yeah, I'll get this sold pretty quickly.